This is a review of the wireless Autodial home, house, or office burglar intruder alarm system. Features the use of wireless technology where it can call you, send you a text message, and it has door alarms and passive infrared sensors. Here you can see 4 different magnetic door alarms that come with the kit. The door alarms also come with a magnetic bar here to allow you to trip the alarm, a piece of sticky foam tape to mount it, and this is actually a wire which can be used as an antenna if you want to extend the range of this unit. There's also a separate instruction manual. I want to point out that this device does use an internal battery that is a model 27A 12-volt alkaline battery, so each one of these has a separate battery in them. This is an external alert to go on the outside of your house so your neighbors and the police can hear it. This actually has a flashing red light so that the policemen are trying to arrive, they can see it flashing on the outside of your office or home. The siren's quite loud. It's powered by an AC power supply rated at 1/2 of an amp, and it outputs 12 volts. It operates on 100 to 240 volts AC and 50 to 60 hertz, and this power supply is UL approved. You can see 4 keychain remote controls. With these remote controls, you can trip the alarm as you walk out the door. It makes it faster and easier to set the alarm and turn it off and on. That way you don't have to go up and mess with the master control station. You can do it all here. I've actually installed several of these systems in people's homes, and normally they come with 1 or 2 remote controls. I've never seen one with 4, so that's a pretty good buy. Comment that this little black portion here on the fob slides up and covers the keys, so you can be careful not to trip it if it's in your purse or pocket. And also, everything that you see here on the table comes with batteries already installed. Back here, you'll see the power supply that powers the master control unit here. This is where you do all the programming. It's important that you thoroughly read the instruction manual. You're going to have to learn about zones and how to set up the alarms. This power supply here operates on 100 to 240 volts AC and 50 to 60 hertz. And then this device here actually has the ability to have a plug-in SIM card, so it has a wireless phone in it that you can dial, and when the alarm goes off, you can have it call various phone numbers or send text messages that there's an alarm at the house. All this programming is done in this manual. I've set this up before. It's okay to do. It's not particularly easy, but it is a learning process. Make sure you keep this manual because you will need it. This power supply I failed to mention is UL approved and outputs 12 volts DC at 1.2 amps. You can see 4 sets of mounting hardware. They're ball and hip adjustments. You mount this to the wall, screw this on there, and then you can tighten it down and adjust it at an angle. These sets here are to mount these sensors that you see here. These are passive infrared motion detectors. These passive infrared motion detectors have a range of around 10 meters. They're designed to be mounted about 5 to 7 or 8 feet on a wall, aiming downward, and if somebody would move across them like this walking, say in a distance of 6 to 10 feet or so, or 15 feet, the alarm will trip and go off. It detects heat, so it's not going to be tripped by just some motion or Doppler effect. It requires a warm body to be seen. There's a separate instruction manual here that comes with this. These devices operate on 4 AAA batteries that are inside. This device back here, this round device, is a very small siren that wires into the back of the master control unit over here. I'll show that in a second. I'm going to use it when I set it up, but I want to tell you, this thing is so loud that when I set it off, it actually caused pain to my ears. It is much louder than the bigger siren, so you're going to hear this thing like crazy. It's unbelievably loud. Here you can see I have the back off one of the door magnetic latches. There is an on-off switch on every piece of equipment that's on this table, basically. The on-off switch is right here. Here's the port where you would plug in the antenna. And here's the battery here that I'm talking about. The little pin where I've plugged in the antenna. There's a small hole here. After you plug that in, just guide the wire down, and it comes out the bottom here, and it extends the range. This door switch is rated to operate at about up to 80 meters, which is quite a distance. With the antenna, it's 100 meters. I got to be honest with you, when you're shooting through walls, sometimes you're going to have trouble doing somewhere between 50 to 80 feet because of the walls themselves. You can see I have the bottom off of one of the passive infrared sensors. There are 4 AAA batteries inside to operate them, and on the back side there is an on-off switch that you have to turn on. I want to point out that the beam angle coming out of this sensor is rated to 100 degrees. This is the light and the siren that's designed to go on the outside of your home. It's designed that you would wire it like through a wall, for example. And then here you have a plug-in switch where you can plug in this power supply. On the back here you have a on-off switch that's very deeply down inside of here that you can flip off and on. You need to do that when you're setting the codes. And when you want to reset it or set the code to link it to the home system, you can do that. This is a tamper switch. So when it's mounted against the wall, this switch is engaged and everything's fine. If somebody were to climb up to the side of your house and try to remove this, the alarm's going to go off. I'll show that, and this is pretty loud. I installed this on a house where they have one of these mounted outside, and they are quite loud and visible from quite a distance. It can be put outside, but it's ideal if you have an overhang to mount it such that rain won't come down and constantly strike it. I'm going to pick this up, which will trip the tamper alarm. This is the master control unit. This mounts inside your home in an easily accessible place. Because everything's linked to here wirelessly, this should be centrally located between all the devices that you install. If you turn this over, you'll see this sliding panel here that you can take this and move down. This is what you mount it with. Right here you'll see a push button. Again, this is another tamper button. If somebody would come up and remove this from the wall and not have it turned off, it's going to trip the alarm. As you open this up here at the bottom, this is where you would wire in the power. It's a little hard to see, but there's a connection down in here. Right there you can see a little bit of a shiny spot. That's where this would plug in at and fish the wire out to the side, and that supplies power to the master system. This right here is the SIM card mounting area where you would plug in your SIM card to install a wireless telephone to have the unit call phone numbers or send text messages. In addition, there's a terminal strip here that you can do wiring to. The only two you're ever going to use is to wire this siren up, for example. Terminals 1 and 2 are designed for that. These wires are plus and minus. The red is plus, the minus is negative. I've wired them up and tested this siren. It is extremely loud. It makes the big one sound quiet. It's ear-shattering. It wants me to play the siren for you, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to tell you it's extremely loud. I've installed these systems before, like I mentioned. I have to tell you that somebody in the family had purchased one like this, and they are rather interesting to set up. They frankly couldn't do it and gave me a call, and I came over and hooked it up for them. The main problem is programming the master unit, and for that you're going to have to pay close attention to the instruction manual, as I pointed out, and just don't lose the instruction manual. That's critical. The second thing is you might want to have some alarms work when you're home and not go off. For example, you might want to be able to set the alarms on the doors around your outside of your apartment, so that if you're watching television and somebody kicks in the door or opens a door that you don't know about, the alarm goes off. Or give you an example, you might take these infrared sensors and have them in a basement of an office or your home, and if somebody were to break into the basement and your family is not down there, you can set it up so that these will work and be on when you're at home. That's all in the programming, and that's where the secret is in setting this up properly. The good part about this system, it comes with everything you need to set up a medium to small size apartment or business. You can set alarms on 4 doors. You can set motion alarms in 4 different areas to trap intruders. You've got some very loud sirens that will really let them know that something's going on. You have an external one for the home. Great alarm system. The negative part that I've experienced in doing this is that, one, the setup can be a little difficult. It's just a learning process. The other thing is because these all use batteries, you're going to be constantly changing batteries. We've experienced on some of these systems that we've installed that the batteries might last 4 to 6 weeks. I recommend that you use rechargeable batteries and have 2 or 3 sets. I use in-loop rechargeable batteries that can be recharged up to 1,500 times, and that will save a cost of buying batteries every few months like you see right here. I'm going to go into the programming. It's simply too complicated to do in a short video, but I like this product. I rated it 4 stars. I think the programming could be a little easier, a little bit better manual, but other than that, this is a good system. This review was done by JJ CEO. I'd like to tell you that I received a sample for test and evaluation, and I promise that if I gave a review, it would be fair and honest.